Welcome back to Wrist Check Podcast.
Okay.
Oh. Episode 60. Woo! We got a special guest tonight.
You can tell we're in a good mood.
Yeah, we're in a great mood. We're having a good time. We got my man Solomon on the couch.
Thank you.
Founder of Solomon Sounds Music Group.
Facts.
It's a pleasure to have you here, my man. Thank you for joining us.
Pleasure to be here. I could talk watches all day.
Yeah, let's do it. We're gonna get into it.
Okay.
I want to give a shout out to Shahendra who made the introduction.
Big time.
Another fellow watch collector and a good friend of the pod.
The Sultan of Style.
Definitely. If you guys missed it, we had Shahendra on episode 58 when we shot at Sotheby's. Tons of fun, and please go back and check that out. Allow us to introduce ourselves. My name is Perry.
I'm Ben.
And we make up 2/3 of the Wrist Check podcast. Our friend Rashawn is out of the state tonight. He's on a little vacation.
Again.
Yeah, he's got his JLC Polaris Beetle watch with him.
He took the Nautilus with him.
Casually took off the Paddock, and he's somewhere out in Sarasota living his best life.
Nice.
But we'll see him back on the couch next week. As is tradition, we gotta have our wrist check. Ben, I'll let you kick it off. What do you got in the wrist tonight?
I'm repeating a watch.
Let's
it's a
go.
Watch I haven't worn in a long time. Someone who has great influence over me was like, "We should wear an Oris tonight," and I was like, "Okay."
Oh, really?
Yeah. But
Okay.
then I busted it out the box, and they were like, "Wait, no, wear the Breguet."
Okay.
So I put the Breguet on,
Okay.
and
That's the Type 20.
yeah,
Yeah.
I haven't even said it because I just put it on my wrist, and I was like, "Fuck, I forgot how much I like this watch." I just been
a good
staring
piece.
at it. So I put it on. I think it goes well with the outfit tonight.
It's a great piece.
Like some military-esque with my very
Shout out to our friend Alberto. He has that same watch.
Alberto has the same exact watch. His is on the black strap. Mine is on this really dark navy crocodile. So yeah, I'm a big fan of this watch, and I think I'll wear it for the next week or so.
Respect. I love it.
Nice.
I'll save our guest for last. I'm wearing a new watch tonight.
Yeah, a new watch?
It's a new old watch.
Okay.
I picked up recently. I don't know. I'm falling in love with vintage again.
Yeah?
I am. And
This had some ebbs and flows for you.
it has, but I think I'm back.
In the beginning, you were heavy vintage.
I was heavy vintage.
You threw the
and I
Daytona,
got the modern
Pepsi
bug.
on for a while.
I had the Pepsi on for a while. But I picked up at a very reasonable price. I moved some stuff around. I had a good week.
Okay.
So I said, you know what? Treat myself. And I got something simple. I got a 1601 blue Sigma dial. Datejust.
Nice.
1973.
Nice.
Great condition. The case is wonderful. I love the electric blue dial. A friend of ours made fun of me for picking up this watch because he doesn't appreciate vintage. But there's something about vintage Rolex that I really appreciate, and I love the jingly jangly sound
you can hear
of the old
yeah.
bracelets. It's just so old school, and it feels nice. And I gotta admit, it's nice to wear kind of like a no frills Rolex.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like
It's
no
crazy
one
that
cares.
those things still exist.
it's insane. This watch is 50 years old.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And it's still I timed it plus 2 seconds. Yeah. It's pretty good.
The only knock I'm going to give you is that it's a blue dial.
Yeah, you hate blue dial.
Wait, what's wrong
It's
with
fine.
the blue dials?
They all look the same.
This is different.
They all look the same.
This is different.
It's vintage. It has its charm. I'll give you that.
But no, I there's something about a vintage oyster case. It has a lot of charm. I just love the shape. I love like the teardrop lugs. I love the way it sits on the wrist, and it takes me back. Just reminds me of like, some of the mentors in my life. Reminds me of my dad, uncles, cousins, things like that. And so it just feels nice. So that's what I got. Solomon, what you got tonight?
Tonight I have a double balanced open work AP.
There we go.
The skeleton, stainless
skeleton.
steel.
What size?
41.
Jumbo.
41, yeah. I love this watch. I wear this watch probably way too much.
No such thing.
Well, here's the thing. It's like, I know it's like a delicate watch, but I just love the way it looks. I love the way it feels. It's steel, so I feel like I don't have to be too delicate with it, but it could be like a good daily watch for me. And I feel like it also speaks really loud. Like it lets you know that like, yo, whoever has this watch is a collector. Like whoever has this watch, this probably isn't their only watch.
Yeah.
You know, and there's a story to tell with this watch, and you know, how did you even get this, and just all of that comes with it, which is just so exciting. But I love the way it makes me feel. I love the way it looks, and
it's a handsome
definitely
piece.
one of my favorites.
It's a great
for sure.
piece. I'm a fan of that watch. I actually I never saw it in person up until earlier this year. I saw I think it was a red gold version.
Oh, nice.
And I used to always see it in photographs on the gram, and I was kind of like, it's tight.
Was it Kevin's?
It was, as a matter of fact. And
shout out to Kevin.
Shout out to Kevin. And I saw it, and I was like, damn, this is good. Yeah. I was like, it's real good.
In person, the weight of it and everything is just like,
is
wow,
nice.
it's
And
amazing.
just looking at the dial or the lack thereof, and seeing everything, it's really nice.
The rose gold one is actually my least favorite one.
I was gonna say I like the steel more. I like y'all know I prefer gold to steel.
This is my first time seeing the steel version.
But the reason why I like the steel more is because you get the contrast of the balance.
Exactly. So that's the way I think it. The gold blends in way too much. I think the best addition is the black though.
The ceramic?
The black ceramic is amazing because just the way everything looks, the way the black and the rose gold sit together, it's art. It's beautiful.
You know, it's crazy too because it's like the Royal Oak design is already like very industrial looking. Yeah. And it's like to see it with like an open work case just kind of brings it out even more. You kind of like, I mean, obviously, you know, it's an AP, it's a luxury timepiece, but there's something about it too that's like kind of like really, really rugged and tough. Yeah. And it's a really nice balance between like toughness and like just refinedness.
Yeah.
That I think is really, really nice. This is tight, man.
I think that's a great way to put it. Like, it's like a man's watch. Like, I love it.
Yeah. Ooz's tool watch. Respect.
Yeah.
We're going to get into how you got that tonight. I want to start with, I want to go into who you are. Where are you from originally?
So my family is from Nigeria.
Okay.
And I'm first generation American. So I was born in Brooklyn, and as really, you know, like my life for me really, really, really started when I moved to Long Island, when I moved to Elmont. That's where I really grew up. That's where I like, you know, became a young man and fell in love with everything from girls to watches to cars and, you know, music. Like I found my passions there. So, you know, I was always a kid that wanted to be in the music business. I would do anything in the world to be in the music business. And that's kind of how my journey started. Like, you know, as much as I love watches, that was like a later passion for me. You know, that was something that came like after, well, I always had the admiration for watches. Like they were always beautiful things. Like I would always like envision like a presidential Rolex on my hand, like one day, like, you feel me? This gold president, like just, you know, because to me that was always like, it was like a big time trophy. It was like a symbol of success. Like, yo, I made it, you know? And, you know, those things coming from where I'm from is really, really, really important. But, you know, music kind of like guided me and took me where I needed to go in life and helped me, you know, become who I am. So I started out, you know, with the studio, my mom's house. In Long Island, where I was just, you know, recording artists and, you know, trying to find my way and trying to help and have something to offer. And I was managing a few artists and, you know, helping them to the best of my ability. I was interning.
Where were you interning at?
So I had a bunch of internships. At the time, I was dating this girl that worked at Harvard. Okay. So I convinced her to give me a fake letter saying I went to Harvard.
That's awesome. Shout out to her.
Facts. Shout out to her. Ayana, I always love you for that. Respect. Thank you so much. But I used that letter to get a bunch of internships because before that, nobody would answer me. Nobody would care. But the Harvard student, everybody would like want to kind of get an internship.
That's so smart. That's so interesting.
And in reality,
instantly created demand for yourself.
And in reality, I went to a school that actually dropped out of that school at the time, but I went to a school called the University of Hartford. So if you said it real fast, it kind of sounded like Harvard. You feel me? So I kind of didn't feel like I was doing anything wrong.
You made the mistake. You heard it wrong.
Facts. And in the same space, you know, I was like, whatever, I'm working for free anyway. Like, why I care where I'm coming from? Like, so, you know, I used that. I got all these internships. My first internship was at E1 Entertainment.
Okay. I was E1, that later became...
No, it was Koch. Then it became E1.
Koch. Koch became E1.
Yeah, facts. Cool. But I was there when it was Koch.
Okay.
So I was interning for Chris Hershey in the digital marketing department. I actually saw him yesterday. Well, not yesterday, like a few days ago for the first time. But it was so cool because we haven't seen each other in so long. And now when he sees me, it's like, you know, I'm kind of like, not in my final form, but on my way. You feel me? Yeah. And you know, he met me as just like a young hustler that was selling a little bit of weed and, you know, just happy to have a foot in the door. Well, they weren't paying you.
You had to do something for them.
Exactly. But just happy to have like a foot in the door, you know, to be in the music business. And at the time, it was the most exciting thing in the world for me. I also interned at Columbia Records for a long time. I interned at RCA. And after interning at RCA, I was just like, yo, now I got to do something. Yeah. Because I was like, 2009, 2010. This is around the time like Kevin, Leor, everybody's leaving to become a manager. So I was like, all right, cool. They're doing that. Let me follow suit. I'm in the building. I see what's happening. Let me start managing things. So, you know, I was working in my studio for years, trying to, you know, work with artists, whatever.
People don't see how long it takes. In the music industry, before you can even, you know, get $1, a lot of dudes that are paid.
For sure. But the beautiful thing about it is I think it weeds out who really wants to be there. You know, so that's the special part about it, because I think there's a certain level of trials and tribulations that if you want real success in this business, that you're gonna have to earn. You know, and it's like you don't say when, the universe says when. You know, so you gotta just be able to survive up until that point. And that point for me, which I didn't even know if I was going to survive. I mean, at the time, my mom's house was in foreclosure. Everything was going down. And, you know, a friend of mine told me about X. And, you know, I spoke to him and took my last...
we're talking about...
XXXTentacion, which was my late great friend, Jose Onfroy, who unfortunately passed away in 2018. But while he was here and alive, he was arguably, I think, one of the most influential artists of his generation, you know, and he did amazing things even before I came into the picture.
In a really short time span.
In a really short time. I mean, we was basically running around for like 2 years, maybe a little bit less, but like, you know, when I first heard of him, he was locked up and he was in jail. His mugshot was viral, but I fell in love with the music. He had this song called Look at Me, which was a great song and it was doing very well, but it was the other songs that kind of showed like his emotion, it showed his versatility, it showed his talents. It was songs like I Don't Want to Do This Anymore that really did it for me. It was like, okay, this kid is special. So I basically hustled up all the money I could. There was this lawyer who was basically like getting everybody in my neighborhood, because like in New York, you would like go and hustle in Florida. You feel me? That's just what everybody did. No matter what type of hustle you want to do, credit card, whatever type of hustle, you go hustle in Florida. So when all my friends would go to Florida and get locked up, and we would read about it in the news and be like, I feel like we're never going to see this person again. And then somehow, some way, 2 weeks, they're back on the block. I was like, wait, what the hell? Like, how'd you get back here? And it was like, oh, Robert Trackman. Like, they used to talk about this lawyer like he was a superhero.
Wow. He was.
No, he really was. So, and instantly I'm thinking like, yo, I got to get X this guy. So I reached out to him. I explained to him. I was like, yo, X is going to be a big star. And he's just like, Solomon, let's go. I'm just like, man, let's do it. So I gave him the money, you know, and then, you know, I got everything else in the process. I got X a lawyer, harassed Bob Celestin enough to represent him. You know, then we were supposed to do a deal with Atlantic at the time. We ended up doing it with Empire, which was great because we ended up at the time with whether we knew it or not, that ended up like changing our lives like financially forever because we owned our masters. So we owned everything that we was doing and we would forever own everything.
Can you explain to people listening what exactly that means?
So basically that meant this. At the time we had a $4 million deal on the table from RCA, which sounded mind-blowing to somebody whose house was in foreclosure. Like, it was funny because there was like A&Rs coming to my mom's house at the time, and there was like, you know, it's funny to say it now because I live in like a gorgeous house, but like there was like mice running across the floor and they would look at me and like, I'm like, yo, no, I know you saw that, bro. Like, bro, you saw that? I'm fucked up. Like, let's make shake. Like, you feel me? Like, let's do something. Don't play with me. My man is in jail. I'm over here living in basically a trap house. Like, let's figure this out. So, you know, eventually we figured it out, and basically we ended up not taking the $4 million deal. A $4 million deal with RCA was a standard deal where it was basically like we would have a royalty point, which a lot of artists have. But instead we went for the profit sharing, which basically means we would operate as a partner, which basically meant we would get, I think at the time it was like 70-30 split, with 70% in our favor, and we own the rights to our music. We never had to give up any publishing. We never had to give up any ancillary 360 rights. It was just the music, the percentage, and that's that. We go do whatever we had to do. And at the time, of course I believed in X and I thought he would do well, but there was no way I thought we would have the massive success that he had.
Right.
I was optimistic, but I don't think there was enough optimism in the world for me to kind of see where that would go.
He really amassed this crazy cult following.
It was.
All the shows, it was like you were there for him if he was there.
Facts. And it was like when I would finally, I think the first time I saw him perform, where we just got him out of jail at the time, it was in Wynwood in Miami, and it was a riot.
Wow. Yeah.
He couldn't even perform. The fire marshal had to shut it down. The cops took him away in the back of the cop car for his own safety. And it really was for his own safety, because like people were getting hurt, trampled, cars. It was crazy. But at that moment I knew, this is nothing like I've ever seen it before. And I was super thankful to God, because them nights I was on my knees praying and crying like, what the fuck am I gonna do?
Yeah.
I didn't know the blessing was going to come in the form of the opportunity to help this young kid from Broward, Florida, get his ideas out and, help him touch the world, really.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
And so along this process, you've seen a lot, right?
Yeah.
You got coming from, interning, being around successful people, paying your dues. In the music industry, it's a lot of people don't realize unless you're there, while you're paying your dues, you're seeing everyone have success around you. And it's almost like getting invited to a dinner, but you can't eat.
Yeah.
And everybody's eating around you. And here you are, this young man from Elmont, and you fall in love with watches, and you're probably seeing some of your idols, you're seeing some of your mentors enjoying the fruits of their labor and their success. What did that feel like, and how did that fuel you in your passion towards, like, did you look at it and was like, man, I'm gonna have a piece like that one day?
Absolutely, because I think I'm like a perfect example. I'm a perfect example, like a child of pop culture.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have cable, but like my next door neighbor, Norman, one of my best friends, he had all the channels and, MTV, BET, all the stuff, like, so it was there. So that culture that we seen, and also when we seen outside with hustlers, whatever the case may be, of that type of success, that type of trophy of a watch, it was always like incredible. And even for the artists that we looked up to, it was always like, I was a big Jay-Z fan. So before I even knew what a platinum Rolex was, it was important to me.
Yeah.
You feel me? It was important to me.
It's so funny to articulate it that way too, because that's exactly what it was. Like when you hear Jay say, like, maybe you spit a bar about like a platinum day, it's like, man, that sounds nice. I don't know what you're talking about. I want a platinum day.
So it did something for me. I remember like when I actually got the platinum day, I was so excited, and I think I was only playing Reasonable Doubt for that week. Because I'm just like, platinum Rolex did. Like that was a moment for me. So, I think along the journey, these watches were really important. And I remember even before I could even afford the watch I wanted, like, I think the Apple Watch came out and all my friends was like getting the Apple Watch. No shade to the Apple Watch. I think it's, useful technology or whatever the case may be. But at the time I couldn't even afford one of those either. So I would just always say like, nah, man, that. I'm waiting for my Rolex.
Yeah.
Real shit. And then,
Manifest.
Manifesting. I'm a big person on manifestation because it's real. Like you got to also put the work in, but you got to like put that call out to the universe and let them know what you want. So, you can be ready to receive it, you know?
So what was the first piece that you got when you found some success, or at least enough success where you're like, I'm going to celebrate this moment. I'm getting a watch. I'm putting a watch on my wrist.
Okay. So I think at the time I was celebrating like not my first platinum single, but maybe like my third.
Okay.
Maybe like my third or fourth or something like that. You know, God bless X. It was all happening so quick. So by the time like I was like, where am I going to put this plaque? I was like, all right, well, I need to celebrate in a different type of way. And I was like, it's time for the watch. And I had this really good friend, Orlando Wharton. He's actually the president of Capitol Records right now. He's killing it. But he was like, yo, it's time for you to go get a watch. You got to show them that you're serious money. You feel me? He's like, you got to show them you're serious money. Go get yourself a gold Day-Day, your president joint. You feel me? And I just started doing my research around this time. This is when I found out about like Hodinky and all these things.
What year was this?
This was 2017. And I was just like, yo, let me just figure out. Because it was a big purchase for me. Because I knew I wanted my first watch to be a gold Rolex. Like that was like the hood trophy of all. You know, at that time, Meek was running around my Rolex, all that other. So it was like, you really felt it. And even then, I knew that I didn't want a bust down watch. I wanted something that was like going to be a real store of value. I wanted something that was going to, you know, be that for me. And so at the time I was on a plane every few days. So when I was looking at watches, I was like, Sky Dweller, that sounds like me. You feel me? I'm always in the sky, like let me get the Sky Dweller. And I knew a lot of people that had day dates. And at the time I didn't really understand why they look so different. So I was just like, you know, some of these are brighter than others. There's these bark dials and all these things like, you know, I don't really get it yet. So I was like, yo, let me get the Sky Dweller because it looks new and it's cool and it's the most complicated Rolex they've ever made. So I was like, let me get that one. And I got it. And I remember I put it on my wrist, and the best kind of way to describe it, if anybody's ever seen the movie Pulp Fiction, like when they opened the box and the gold came out, that's what it felt like. It really felt like that.
Did you get the Sky Dweller in gold?
I did. I got it in yellow gold.
Nice.
With a champagne face. And I will never forget that day because, I mean, like, outside of, like, watching my kids being born, maybe getting my first plaques, like, that was one of the happiest days of my life.
Because it was everything that you'd gone through.
Yeah.
The culmination of all of these, like, hardworking nights, you know, the stuff that you'd gone through, the foreclosures, not knowing when you were going to be able to pay these bills, to helping this guy turn his life around, and then the two of you figuring this out, all of that compiled to that moment where you get this watch and it's like the relief sets in.
You know what else? I think that was a perfect describing. The only thing that was missing from that was at that point in my life, I never did anything for myself. Like everything was for everybody else. Like I was getting money, but at that point, like I paid off my mom's house that was in foreclosure.
Yeah.
So I did everything for everybody, and I was like, yo, it's time to do something for myself.
Time to do it yourself.
You
I love that.
Feel me?
Finally, everything that you did, you had a representation of it now. You had a totem.
Exactly. So I was like, now I can wear this and feel good about it. You feel me? Like I don't want to like wear this gold Rolex, and my mom is like, oh my God,
you took
somebody took pictures of the house.
That's incredible.
So it was like it needed to be in a space to where everything was in order, to where it's just like, yo, I don't got to worry about anything. This is really what it is. Like when you see me with this it means exactly what it's supposed to mean.
I love that.
You know?
So you brought some watches with you tonight.
I did.
Which here, including the one on your wrist, is the eldest?
Eldest?
Yeah, what's the first one that you got out of this group?
Out of this group, the first one would have to be this AP.
Okay.
And
now
I thought for sure you were going to go further with this.
No.
What sparked? What was your introduction to AP?
Okay, so my introduction to AP. Shout out Imran, who's running Island Records.
Okay,
he came to my house to listen to some Cochise records. My company manages an amazing artist named Cochise, who's on tour in Europe right now. He's killing it. Shout out Cochise. Imran came to my house, and he had a Royal Oak on. And I could not focus in our This is in the pandemic.
So he's talking, you're like...
So he's talking, I'm just like...
I don't hear anything.
Where the fuck did you get that watch from? Like, that's so cool. It was a stainless steel one, but it was a stainless steel chronograph with a blue face. It was a gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous watch. And at the time, I know he's probably like, yo, Solomon don't be caring about nothing, but that wasn't the case. I was obsessed with his watch, and I wanted him and Jay Schumer to get the fuck out so I could race to AP. And that's exactly what I did. As soon as they left, I raced to AP on 57th Street, and I remember like I put on my Patek because I was like, yo, I want them to feel like I'm big. I'm a big dog. Was it? It was a 5980 1R on the bracelet.
Ooh, it's a big boy watch.
Yeah, that's a big Patek for sure.
I wanted them to feel
that's
like
a John special.
That is a
So I walked in there and I was just like, yo, as politely as I could, I was like, hey, my name is Solomon. I'm in the music business. You know, I've had a really great year. I want to do some celebrating. And I also want to like, you know, build a relationship with the brand. Yeah. Straight up. Like, I don't want to play any games. I want to build a relationship with the brand. Whatever you pull out the back, I'm buying.
Wow.
Like, I'm buying. Like, just like, how do we do this?
Take
like,
this
how do we
code.
do this? Yeah. You know, to my amazement, they didn't pull out, and this is no disrespect to, you know, AP, because I think, you know, they're one of my favorite watch brands ever. But, you know, they didn't offer me something that I hated. They offered me a rose gold offshore, the brick on a bracelet. And the brick on a strap. And I thought it was gorgeous. Yeah. I was like, this is perfect. Okay, great, I'll take it. I was really, what's that AP, the circle one? That nobody likes? The code, yeah. The code. Yeah, I thought they was gonna offer me a code, and I was gonna have to try to finagle my way out of not buying that. Not that I don't like the code, it's not for me.
Yeah, sure.
It's not for me. I'm more of like a Gerald Genta kind of guy.
Okay.
You feel me? Like,
I think that's gonna be the name of this episode.
Yeah.
Nice.
Gerald Genta guy.
Good.
Yeah, like, that's how I feel. It's like,
I
for
love
me,
that.
if I gotta pick one, I want what he made, because it's like,
Sure.
I think that's the best representation of AP, and I don't care if it's if people say that they're a one-trick pony, because in case they're not, like, you feel me, they do a bunch of other great things, but what we know and what we want, like that octagon,
it's
that
just so iconic.
bracelet, that exactly, we want that. So it's just like, you know, and there's so many different ways that it comes in. That's one thing I love about AP. It's like, you know, to the untrained eye, somebody could say, oh, like my mom, you know, mom's a great mom, good person, all the other stuff. She'll complain about me buying watches. They all look the same. Look at all these watches. They look the same. And, you know, I would never say this, but how I feel is like,
Like you bugging.
You uncultured swine. Like, look at this dial. They're different, you know, but that's what...
You got to be immersed in the culture.
She's gonna say it's the same with a different color.
Exactly, but I'm just like, no, you don't understand. This is a jumbo. This is 39. This is smaller. This is a turb. You feel me? This is a skeleton.
My wife
this is
called my Nautilus basic the other day.
See?
She was like, yeah, it's a basic watch.
The nerve. The nerve.
I could hear her like in her voice like saying that.
She was like, yeah, it's basic.
See,
what?
See, I don't play that. I trained my baby mom to like really, really appreciate watches. Like when I first met her and we were first like hanging out, like she had like this little Rolex. Like it was gold though, but it was like 30. One of them little Rolexes, you know, it was like a 30, but it had some weird bust down bezel on it. It was like a Frankenstein watch. I knew it was like a Frankenstein watch, and I hated it. And she had like a Cartier bust down, hated it as well too. So like, once we like started having kids, and I'm like, all right, she's the mother of my kids. Like, let me start putting some pieces away for her that she can enjoy, have a store of value, and also give my daughter one day. So, you know, I've gotten some great pieces for her as well.
That's awesome.
And I feel like that's helped me in terms of like trying to build up my collection. Like, yeah, hey, I'll take this lady's piece.
She gets it.
Yeah. You know, so it's been cool.
So this piece here, what's the story with this acquisition?
So shout out to Chris Barganier at AP. He's no longer at AP, but he was at AP. And I met him through Shahendra. And this is one of the many reasons that I love Shahendra. If you guys ever meet Shahendra, you got to give him a big hug, a warm hug.
A solid dude.
You feel me? Because he's just a solid dude. And everything that comes from him is just great and positive. And he's just like a connector of like great, great, great people. Like, you know, and also, he's like a sleeper. Like, you know, maybe you look at him, maybe you don't really know like the wealth of a person, but like when you can sit down and just have a conversation with him about so many different things, it'd be amazing. But long story short, he introduced me to AP. One day I came to Dumbo House, I sat with him. He introduced me to Chris Bargainaire, and then I was just going AP crazy. You know, I bought the yellow gold chronograph with the green dial because green was my favorite color. And at the time, he asked me like, "Yo, what's your favorite color?" And I was like, "Yo, green." He's like, "Oh, great, we got a bunch of green releases coming this year." It's titanium.
Yeah, this thing white.
They made 50 though.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Yeah, but I love it because it's so rare. Even though like I feel like a lot of people don't appreciate turbs. Yeah. You feel me? And they're also rare. I feel like you don't really see turbs. Like I feel like, you know, I see a lot of brigade turbs. I see a lot of things like that. But as far as like an AP turb, it's also like an expensive watch. So it's like it's not something that, you know, you're gonna see often.
It's not pedestrian at all. Like, you're not gonna run into, you know, if you run into someone that has any kind of tourbillon watch, they're a watch person.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But that's why, like, out of all my APs, I think it's like one of the most special because even though it's like, I feel like it's an extreme complication, it's like, it's for the watch snobs.
Yeah.
You feel me?
It's funny because, like you said, it's an extreme complication, but it looks so simple, right? Like,
it looks so simple.
It's still a time-only watch.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous.
It's crazy to think about it like that. And that's exactly what it is. But it's like, you know, I actually had that before I had the skeleton. And to be honest, it made me want the skeleton so much more because just watching that open movement, that just there, just, you know, even though I loved the green on that watch was just so just alluring and kind of like bright and just, it made you feel good. And I love to like pair it with green outfits and, you know, green cars and all this other go green crazy. But like, it just made me like want to go get that open work so much more. And you know, that's probably why I wear the open work so much more. I feel like it's so much more a better representation of like what I would want from a watchmaker. Like for these two APs, I feel like this is AP showing off. I feel like this is some of their best examples at watchmaking. Yeah. Like, you know, Rolex doesn't have a turb. They don't do that. You feel me? Like even Patek, like you don't see their turbs. You feel me? It's like, so it's like that visual display of greatness, you feel me, is something that I feel like very few watchmakers could do, and AP does it super well. And for the fact they're so limited, makes it so much better. It makes it even better.
You know, you're one of 50 people in the world that has this.
Exactly.
You know what I really enjoy about a tourbillon movement?
Tell me.
Is when you take away the second hand, the tourbillon is your second hand.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
That was the big deal with the Grand Seiko Kodo.
Oh yeah,
they really showed that off because they put that jewel. So when it spins, you have some visualization of your seconds.
Gorgeous.
Nah, for sure. I remember one time I was with this girl and I was wearing this watch, and she was like I was single at the time. Me and my girl broke up, but like, I was with this girl and she was like a watch, like a watch.
Okay, she knew watch.
And like I had my arm around there, and then she was like, the sound of that turb makes me want to come. And I was like, I almost wanted to marry her right there and then, but I was just like,
that's good.
I was like, I was like, that you could have, there's nothing you could say that could have been more of a beautiful thing to say to me ever. That was the most beautiful thing ever.
That's it. Shout out to Gerald Genta.
Facts. I know this is not what you intended, but thank you.
Maybe it is.
Oh, maybe it is.
It might be. He's ahead of his time. So
he was. Facts. So you get this watch.
Yeah.
How long before you get that sensation and you're like, I need another watch?
Right away.
Yeah, I want to say maybe 9-10 seconds, maybe. Okay. But you know, I really enjoyed it though. Like I took it home, I put it next to the yellow gold one. I took a bunch of pictures with it, and then I put it back in the safe. Yeah. Just straight up, like I barely wear that watch. Like there's certain times I won't take it off for a week, but for the most part, it's not really out like that. You know, this is something that like I want to make sure I keep nice and keep it pristine. And I know like the service on a turb is a lot, so I don't want to have to send this back to Geneva for any reason. You know, so you know, like I said, I'm about to have a son. This is for him. You feel me? Specifically, like, you know, maybe when he graduates college, maybe when he loses his virginity, something cool. You feel me? Something cool. It's like, yo, bro, you're gonna get these watches in cool kind of like accomplishments in your life. You get married, something great happens.
I love that, like, you know, I think this is a testament to the passion that you have for timepieces, because it's very easy for people to kind of just get wrapped up in watches. But I think what separates you know, just a watch consumer from a watch collector is you're already thinking about not only creating moments for these pieces, but what they might mean to someone who means a whole lot to you down the line.
Yeah.
And so you're already planning, like, no, I'm building a collection for a purpose, like something to be proud of, but also something to like give to the people that I care about. I think is really awesome.
So would you say that this tourbillon was like the first like extra rare, extra special piece that you acquired?
Yeah, I think this is probably one of the most special pieces in my collection.
And did you,
for sure.
So did you ever find yourself chasing that feeling again when you got the next watch?
Absolutely, but it was almost like impossible.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, you know, that's why, like, even though I haven't spoke to Chris Barganier in a long time, it's like I'm always gonna have a really special love for him because he helped me skip the line. You feel me? Mm-hmm. Like, even though, like, you know, I was buying pieces from AP, I was buying a bunch of things, but like I never had to buy anything I didn't want. Like, I remember they tried to offer me the Black Panther watch, and I was like, I don't know. Like, you know, superhero, it felt like a cereal box type of thing. You feel me? And there's nothing wrong with that for the people that like it, but for that type of money, I wanted
it wasn't
to feel, I wanted to feel like I got something that was elegant. Like that watch and this watch are basically like the same cost. Mm-hmm. And this watch feels like, it feels like worth the money. The other watch kind of felt like something that was just
gimmicky.
A little too gimmicky for me. You feel me? And I loved Black Panther and I loved the thought of it. I just thought that collaboration wasn't like my favorite. Sure. You feel me? It wasn't necessarily my favorite.
I don't think that's what, so I mean, they announced this collab, like 2 years ago now? Mm-hmm. Like when they did that whole Marvel thing. I don't think people are getting what they expected from it. Yeah. Which I think was kind of like the backlash on it. Yeah. I like the Black Panther more than the Spider-Man watch.
Yeah, me too.
Sure.
Me too.
And I fucking love Spider-Man.
Yeah.
That watch is for me.
It's like, you know, it's not like this. You're offering this watch at nearly $200,000. It's like, this is not a watch for children. Exactly. You feel me? So it's like, I feel like maybe the watch would be different if the price point was a little cheaper. But it's like at $200,000, I'm buying things that like need to make sense forever. Mm-hmm. You feel me? Like, at least for me, it's like I'm not getting no frivolous $200,000 watch.
I feel like I feel you. I feel like the person who's going after, like, there's two kinds of people that's going after the Black Panther or the Spider-Man. Someone who's going to flip
Stan
immediately. Yeah. Or B, the hand few of people that already have every AP. Yeah. You know, there are those guys that, like, when that watch comes out, their name's already at the top of the list. They know they're getting that. Yeah. They know they're getting that. And then it's like, what else do you have to offer those guys that are already at the top? Like, you know what you have to give them because they've been with you for so long. They look at the Black Panther and they're like, it is the toy box cereal for them.
And that's exactly what they need.
And that's what they want because they're like, I get everything else. Yeah. I literally get everything else. No, I want that Wheaties box. Yeah. Let me get that.
I guess.
So they end up all going to the Middle East.
No, that makes sense. Makes sense.
So you got this open work piece. Yeah. So this was the next one, or?
That wasn't the next one. After this, they kind of put me on ice for a little while. I think I got the Jumbo 15202 after that in Art Basel in Miami. Mm. Then after that,
was this piece next here?
No, this was recently. This was the most recent watch I bought.
So let's talk about the open work. So when did this fall into your?
The open work came, I think, around Christmas time. Okay. And this Christmas that just passed. Mm-hmm. And
so this is still like fresh.
Yeah, this is still fresh. Still fresh. So that's why I'm still like very much obsessed with it. But I've been probably and shout out to Myra, but I've been harassing her since I met her for this watch. Okay. Like, since I met her, like, stone cold, like, yo, I need a skeleton, need a skeleton. And she would tell me, like, yo, I'm going to make it happen for you. But gotta take time. And I was just like, yeah, whatever time you needed. And, you know, at the time, you know, things were going so great. And I was just like, yo, Myra, I need this. And I knew that they were gonna get a new CEO. And I was worried about that because I didn't know how like the distribution process would change. So I was like, yo, Myra, please, Christmas, hold me down. And she came through and held me down.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so I loved it.
That's a great Christmas gift.
It was the best Christmas gift ever. Like, you know, it was perfect.
What did your mom say about this piece when you showed?
She said another one.
Yeah, basically, she's like, they all look the same. They all look the same. And then she's like, what do you mean they look the same? She's like, oh, the bracelet for all your watches look the same. It's that same bracelet. I was like, no, listen, this is steel. This is titanium. This is rose. I'm just showing her different APs and why it's different, but she just doesn't get it.
Yeah.
You know?
Do you have, well, you have Shahendra. Do you have, like, is anyone else that's in your circle where when you get these pieces, you get to like celebrate with?
Yeah, for sure.
Watch
for sure.
things,
There's definitely a few guys. My guy John, my guy Birdman. You know, there's a few of us, not enough, but a few of us that just go to like because you know, there's certain times it's like because it's like I want to like celebrate it with somebody that isn't gonna. I'm not gonna try to make them feel bad about.
No, they're genuinely happy.
They're
for you.
exactly.
Like,
so it's just like
that's hard.
You know, it's not an easy thing, especially when you're talking about stuff like, you know, watches and stuff like that. Because I have friends that like one of my best friends, Bobby. Like I'll hit him like, yo, I just got this new watch. Check this shit out. And he's like, yo, bro, I'm at work, bro. Yeah. Like, bro, I do not care about whatever watch you just bought. I'm sure it's nice, but like. Thanks, man. Like, I'll talk to you later.
I'll call you after 5.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's just like, but for my friends who get it, it's almost like, oh my God. It's like they get the passion and the understanding of it. And, you know, I think it's a really special thing. It's a cool journey.
That's awesome.
Very cool journey.
That's awesome. Which one of your friends has like, outside of like Shahendra, is anyone in your immediate circle you really admire their collection? Okay,
so my guy, Mel Carter, I love his collection because somehow, some way, he's been able to swindle AP the best. The best. So not to put his shit there too much, but some of his favorite pieces of mine, at least from AP, is he has the black ceramic open worked.
Yeah, and that's the one you were talking about. That's like
that
a
was
grail
like
piece
my
for you.
grail piece.
Yeah.
And he also has my number 2 grail piece, which is the frosted yellow gold rainbow open.
That's crazy. Yeah,
so
that's a swing
nuts. Like, how did you get both of those open works out of AP is crazy. So, you know, shout out to Jenny, you know.
Respect.
Shout out to Jenny. Happy for him. But like, again, that's a situation where I was so happy to see somebody that I'm friends with, or even somebody that looked like me, just have that watch. And it being a good place to where I know it's like, yo, this person is gonna have this, they're gonna appreciate it, it's gonna be great. So it's like, I love that. Love that.
Where are you getting, are you keeping up to date with what's happening in the watch industry outside of like Rolex and Patek and AP? So, and if so, how are you getting to this information?
So I'm a big like Hodinkee guy.
Okay.
Like I love talking watches. I follow probably every Instagram page on Instagram and TikTok. I follow a lot of them on YouTube.
Yeah.
You know, all the guys like, you know, Nico, like the CRM guys in Miami. Literally like anybody. Like
it's
anybody.
crazy how like watch media has like blown up since COVID and social media and everything. It's like
there's so many different personalities too.
For sure.
Like
so many different personalities. But I think it's a testament to like the growth of the industry, how accessible the information is now.
Absolutely.
And it's like what used to require years and like being around or having access to people who've been collecting watches for a long time, you can now like circumnavigate all of that.
Oh, for sure.
And like become like an autodidact. Like you can like teach yourself about watches.
That's kind of how it was for me. Like my girl would come home and be like, yo, why are you watching watch stuff on YouTube? And I'm like, yo, this is my passion. I love this. You just don't get it. Get the hell out of here. You feel me? But it's just like, I learned so much just in like passing. Even if I'm like, you know, during the pandemic, I was obviously working from home and that's what's on. You feel me? Pride and Pinion is on. You feel me? I'm looking at. That's what I'm looking at. I'm learning from these people on why these things are important, because it's not just for me. It wasn't just about spending the money on them. It was just understanding the history of these things, that these brands that are around for hundreds of years and they're still important today. It's like, you know, there's a bunch of new brands, and I like some of the new brands. Like I like Richard Mille. I don't own one yet, but you know, I like that brand a lot. You know, of course, I like Rolex. I'm a big fan of FP Journe. Yeah, like beautiful. I want to get into those for sure.
We'll make an introduction.
Okay, thank you. I love those watches. I think they're incredible. There was what is it called? This is like one of my next watches that I want to get. That's not one of like the big threes. It's like it flips. It's the what you know what I'm talking about.
The Reverso?
The Reverso.
Yeah. Oh, JLC. Yeah.
JLC Reverso.
They do amazing pieces.
Yeah, but I want the one with the turban in it.
That's the new one that just came out.
I want the one with the turban.
That was my favorite one.
The black dial gold.
Yeah.
Out of Watches and Wonders, I thought that was amazing.
So I want that for sure. I think it's a brilliant watch. I love the size of it. You know, because sometimes I feel like an AP is like really kind of big. You feel me? So it's like, especially because most of my, with the exception of my jumbo, most of my APs are 41. So it's like a big watch.
It's crazy too, because you made you said something I thought was interesting. You mentioned like big three.
Yeah.
It's crazy that like a lot of people don't consider JLC as being part of like that upper echelon in watchmaking, when in part they contributed a lot.
To the sure. Wouldn't be where they are if it wasn't for JLC.
100%,
for sure.
You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of history there and merit for a brand like JLC. I think any watch collector should be looking at JLC to add to their collection, especially a Reverso. I mean, it's an elegant piece.
Yeah,
it's interesting. It definitely makes you. It just adds a level to I think anyone's watch collection where it feels a little more well rounded.
I think so too, and I think that's what I'm looking for. Don't get me wrong, I'm still looking for like some grail pieces, but like in the same space, I'm looking for things that like feel special, like that like I'll be down to kind of like educate somebody for, because I feel like, you know, I feel like the people that know me know I'm good for a good watch. You're always gonna catch me with a good watch. So if there's like a JLC Reverso or
it's one of those, if you know
exactly. It's like come learn about this. This is why you should know about this. This is why this is so cool. Come, let me show you how I can flip the face and it's something else now. And you know, I think that's really cool.
That's awesome.
I think that's really cool.
So obviously Rolex is still a big deal to you.
No, for sure. I mean, I think for me, like I probably have 3 Rolexes now. So I have still the what is it called? You
still have the Sky Dweller?
The Sky Dweller, the yellow gold champagne face Sky Dweller. I have the Sprite.
Okay, Sprite GMT. Nice.
Sprite GMT Lefty. You know, I thought that was pretty cool. I wore it on like my family trip to Europe, which is dope.
Nice.
And my most recent
you just got this
Rolex. Which is definitely, I think, one of my most special ones.
That gold Daytona.
Yeah, definitely the rose gold Daytona with the chocolate face. So I got this from my dealers at Tourneau.
Okay.
And you know, they've been taking care of me for a while, and I usually try to get watches to like signify like important like things that happened in my life. So when I found out that I was having a boy, I hit them immediately. I was like, yo, I need a watch for this moment to know. So it's like every time it's like, yo, this is my boy watch. So he hit me and was like, yo, I don't know when I'm going to have something, but I'll hit you soon. I'll get you something soon. So I was like, all right, well, we'll see. And then eventually he showed me that chocolate face Daytona. And I loved the Daytona a lot.
You still got stickers on it.
Oh yeah, that was recent. So I love the chocolate Daytona, but for me, in a weird way, it was like, oh man, chocolate Daytona, chocolate boy, it's perfect. It's like it's meant to be. So you know, I told him, hell yeah, I want it. Pack it up for me, and you know, I've wore it a lot, and it's cool because I feel like I'm really like an AP guy. I wear a lot of APs, but like, I think the Daytona is one of the best Rolexes ever. Okay. Like, I feel like when I was first looking for like a Rolex, like if I would have done a little bit more research, I would have.
You would have started with a Daytona.
I would have started with a Daytona.
I know Ben can definitely appreciate it. Ben is he hates steel Daytonas.
Yeah.
Why?
So he's just only precious metal.
Yeah, gold Daytonas are the only way to do it in my book.
But no pandas for you.
No, the black one to slide just because it looks so sleek and like sexy in black. I'm good on the pandas.
But why? What's the?
It's the most like frat boy, like hype ass, like no need for this to be what it is. Watch and like the black one's the same exact thing. Aesthetically, I think most people would say it's nicer, but I need the white one.
Yeah,
no, the fuck you don't. No, you don't.
We just had that conversation.
Yeah, and also like I don't know, man. Like
I think the black. I borrowed a black one from our friend John for a while.
Yeah,
and I fell in love with it. I was like, black Daytona.
That's
is
always
where it's at. It's nice.
Yeah, and it's like I don't know. It's weird, man.
See, I like those bezels though. Like,
the bezels.
Like
great.
I like the bezels.
The ceramic bezel's great.
I like it. I like it a lot because even this watch, it's like even when I wear it, like I didn't take the stickers off. The stickers that came off just came off.
You just let them fall off.
Yeah,
I know a lot of
them
people
fall
do that.
off.
Yeah,
because I'm just like, yo,
Frame stars like that.
Yeah, he does that. He
this is gonna get scratched up, and I don't hate the scratches, but like when I send it, eventually when I get it serviced, I don't want them to clean up the scratches. Mm-hmm. You feel me? Even though I don't like them, I don't want it to get touched. Like when my son gets it, he could do whatever he wants with them. But for me, I don't really want them to be polished. And maybe I could be wrong, but like I heard it's just not great for the watch.
If you do it through Rolex, so I know for steel, around 5 times in the watch's lifetime, they'll refinish it.
Yeah.
After that, they won't touch it because then you start to lose the integrity. For gold, they'll do it 3 times.
Yeah.
Okay.
But they'll want you to space it out. So like, let's say you just got that back from a refinishing, it looks brand new. Your next scratch in 2 days, they're not going to be like, we're not going to refinish that. That's stupid.
Yeah.
Like, wait.
No,
and they'll only do it 3 times in his lifetime. So once you do that third go, there's nothing touching it.
So I got to say, because over the duration of this podcast, Daytona has always come up, and just in general conversation. And I love Rolex as a brand, but I never found, for me, like the perfect Rolex. I think the closest I got to it was the Day-Date I had.
Mm-hmm. Which one was that?
I had like a vintage white gold Day-Date. I love vintage Rolex.
Yeah.
And it was unpolished. It was an 18239 reference, early 90s piece. And I love that watch. 36 millimeter, perfect size for me. But what made me fall in love with the Daytona was the K-shape. Yeah. The Daytona, the modern Daytona, as we knew, not obviously now it's discontinued and we have the whole new line that's coming out. But that K-shape, I felt like in their entire lineup was the closest to what I appreciate about vintage oyster cases. The most recent, it's funny because I can't call it modern Daytona now, it's retired. But that case shape, when I wore it, it reminded me of wearing a vintage Rolex. And I was like, this feels good. It feels nice. So I know they changed the case shape. I've had like a GMT and some other pieces. It's difficult for me to wear because they have that maxi case and it's just like, it feels like a tank.
Yeah, they're a block. Yeah.
They're a block.
No,
and there's not like, similar to this, the vintage cases, they have a little bit more curvature to them, a little more round. And I think that this iteration of the Daytona was perfect in terms of design and case shape. It just feels great on the wrist.
Agreed. Also, I love Rolexes. Like I love their pink gold. Like,
Everrose. Yeah, no one does it like this.
Like
nice.
It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. I'm not the biggest fan of like two tones, but like if I was to ever get a two-tone Rolex, it would definitely be the Everrose because it's just like that.
Yeah, like a root beer.
Yeah. So I fuck with those.
Tight.
I fuck with those a lot.
That's amazing, man.
What are your Grail watches?
Grail?
Do you have any Grail?
I have Grail. I mean,
Does he?
Sorry?
I said, does he?
Yeah, I got some Grails. I would love a Resonance FP Journe. I mean, I would get rid of my entire collection for that one.
Wow.
You'd have to.
You would literally have to.
Well, how much did they go for?
A lot.
A lot.
Sheesh.
Yeah. But I just think, and you know what? I've always thought like that was like a really cool watch. We were talking off camera earlier about a friend of mine, Al. Shout out to Al from Official CP Time. Al did an event in Miami a few months ago that I attended at FP Journe.
Yeah.
And it was just a chance for the CP Time crew to get together and to get more educated about the brand. And we spent some time with a gentleman out there named Rocky, who works for FP Journe. And he gave us like a whole breakdown on the history and the technology. And when he was talking about the resonance and the movement and everything that went into it, it hit me, and I was like, man, there's nothing else like this.
Yeah.
And it made me fall in love with the watch even more, outside of it just looking cool. Yeah. One of the things he said stuck out to me. When you buy a watch, some of the questions people ask, they say, how often do I need to get it serviced? And somebody asked him that, and he said, when it breaks. And I was like, that's such a powerful statement. He's like, no, you service the watch if it stops working.
Yeah.
Because our watches very rarely stop working.
Wow. That's so.
I was like,
a resonance in gold retails for $136.
Yeah.
And then in platinum it's $140 flat.
Jeez. It's a big boy watch.
And that was in 2022. The price increase.
Man.
Yeah, the resonances and the technology behind it too. Like
that's the platinum.
The fact that it has this, that's the platinum one.
Oh my goodness.
It has this 2-barrel system. And so the reason why theirs especially has a 2-barrel system, but it's a dual time. And literally the way that they place the barrels together, there's like a frequency that's created within the watch that regulates time. So he was saying that sort of like when you talk about accuracy in terms of watches, like Kosk is what like +4 -2, something like that. And then like Rolexes, they do their own superlative +2 -2. FP Journe, it doesn't leave the factory unless it's -1 to 0.
Oh wow!
So like
that's incredible.
Like, this is the rose gold.
Yeah.
Oh no, the rose gold.
Rose gold salmon.
Like accuracy is so important to him.
Oh.
That's why they only produce a few hundred watches a year.
Yeah,
like
I think the number's like 700 to 800.
Yeah, the watch will not leave the factory unless it's perfect.
Wow.
Yeah.
The other thing is even with the complications, like if you're using like a complicated Patek or even a complicated AP, you know that there are certain times when you can adjust the complication, right? For like Patek, it's usually you have to turn the watch to like between 3 and 4 p.m. That's like the optimal period where you can start adjusting complications so you don't mess up the movement.
Wow.
On FP Journe, it doesn't matter what time it is. You can adjust the complication. Like his goal was to make the watch so complicated that it's simple for the end user.
That's so dope.
And he does all sorts of like weird things to his watches just to simplify everything. And it's just like just the level of care that goes into that brand to me is insane.
And the movements are made out of gold.
Yeah, I mean they're beautiful.
Even crazier.
That's
so that's like number one. Number two is like Cartier Crash.
Ooh,
it's just like that's art. It's just beautiful.
Which one though?
I would just do gold.
Well, what about that new platinum joint?
The new platinum is crazy.
They just dropped one today.
Yeah,
for real?
Yeah, new Crash and platinum.
Platinum, but I would take just the. For me, it would be the normal gold bezel, white dial, blue hands. Like to me, that's just like if you have your choice at a Crash, I want like the OG.
I can't. If I had my choice at a Crash, I would get the rose gold skeleton.
That's the one Hov has. Yeah, that thing is crazy.
Rose gold skeleton. That shit is.
I'd want to make my own if I got the opportunity.
I would love to. If that's an option.
Like, yo, collection privé, what's up? I think when you get to that level, you might as well just go for it.
Sure.
Like Wade Cole made his own. He did the blue dial with white leaf.
I would do a green dial.
Wow. It's crazy.
I could.
Dial Crash.
I go red hour markers, black dial, red hour markers.
Sick.
Just the
green Crash would be nuts. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So what are you after next?
So my grail piece, number one grail piece of all time, is the ceramic perpetual calendar open work.
Yeah.
That's my number one grail piece from AP.
Yep.
I'm after, we spoke about this off camera earlier, but I'm dying for this Nautilus or Aquanaut with the Tiffany stamp.
Okay.
The Tiffany stamp. I'm harassing the people at Tiffany. I'm blowing a bag. I'm doing everything I could do to get that. But I feel like I need that. I need that. And at that point, like, any one of them Nautiluses I would love. But if I had my pick, it would be the perpetual calendar Nautilus. I think that's the 5740.
Yeah, 5740 is awesome.
Yeah, that's the
awesome.
one I would pick with the
color,
Tiffany stamp.
Ooh. Yeah, that's
but do you want the Tiffany dial?
No, I don't.
Yeah,
because I thought it was nice. Like, I remember when I see it was a Bernard.
No, he has the only one that we know.
The only one in the world. But like, it didn't look as nice to me.
It looks kind of cheap, don't it?
It didn't look as nice.
Tiffany blue,
it's so
especially
specific.
Against steel,
it's weird with the black.
It's just so vibrant. It's very loud.
And you know what else? That's a busy dial.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
So it's like
busy.
Having the dark blue that already comes with it is nice.
So much,
but also,
so
like, what I love about the 5740, outside of the fact that it's white gold, which I think is awesome, the color blue of that dial is different than any other dial that they do. It's just like, it's a very, very, it's a really cool shade of blue.
Ooh, it's gorgeous.
It's very nice.
It's gorgeous. Then I also love the 5712R.
It's a good one.
On a bracelet. I love that. I love the 5990, the blue, on the rose gold. I like that a lot. I like the steel one too, but like, I think that rose gold blue is a really nice combination.
Yeah.
And then like the Celestial, like, I just love that watch.
Yep. That when you mentioned that earlier, that got me excited.
Like, I love that watch. Like, I just love that watch. It's incredible. Like, the craftsmanship, just the universe in your watch is just
it's
amazing.
insane.
You like it in rose or platinum better?
To be honest, I like it in rose better. Like, I like platinum watches for sure. You know, Patek Platinum comes with a little diamond and all this other shit is nice, but like, something about rose gold just hits a little bit better.
Sure.
Like, even though like
it's got that warmth.
It's that color.
Exactly.
Yeah, the color's nice.
Exactly. Even though there's nothing like that platinum Day-Day. Nothing like it. Like, I got the one with the dome dial. You know, which I love
bezel.
now. Yeah, with the dome bezel. Now that it's discontinued, like, like, I saw the new one with the fluted bezel, and it's like,
It looks like, I feel like it looks like white gold, and part of the distinguishing feature of the platinum is kind of taken away.
Because you knew it was platinum.
Exactly.
Especially because, like, you could get, like, a lot of people don't know this, but you can get a platinum Day-Day with like a black or even a green dial. And they make that in white gold. So if you have a platinum Day-Day, a newer one at least with a fluted bezel, it kind of just looks like a white gold watch.
Yeah.
And the feature
don't feel like a white gold watch.
It don't feel like one. The whole point of having the platinum was you had that dome bezel. And it's like it was special to that configuration.
No, sure.
That's how I felt too. It's like, even though I feel like it's scratched so easily, but like, it didn't matter. Like, I think it still looks so good. Like, it looks so good, especially compared to the fluted bezel. And I feel like for platinum, there should be some type of variation. It's like, it's bad enough it looks like the other metals. You feel me? So it's like, give us something that just lets you know, like, hey.
Well, I think originally they did the dome bezel because it was just it was too difficult to make.
Yeah, platinum's a super hard metal to work with.
It's crazy.
Like, people like watchmakers and like jewelers describe it as like gummy, like it sticks.
Wow. I'm even sure that they're probably not producing that many of those.
No.
They can't.
I've only ever seen 2.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what other watch I love? I got the 36 of it, but then I ended up like giving it to my girl. I don't even know if she still has it, but it was the Eisenkiesel Day-Day.
Really?
That stone
That's a
is crazy.
So we were on a family vacation in Capri last summer, and I saw one in the window at the Rolex. Yeah. It was a 36 though. So I got it. I enjoyed it for a little while, and I gave it to her. But it was more so of like, I wanted the 40.
Sure.
I wanted the 40 with the diamond markers. Like, just the reason why I like that watch so much is because it's such a rare stone, they all come out different. So your watch kind of feels like a piece unique.
Yeah, sure.
You know?
Yeah, that's true. That's
so
a good point.
I love that. You feel me? And it's like,
that's kind of what I appreciate about like that falconized dial Yachtmaster.
Yeah. Facts. It's like, nobody else has this. Nobody's gonna have this exact same one.
They can have something similar.
Exactly.
Yeah,
but it won't be the same thing.
Different. Yeah.
So I think that's incredible. Like, I think that's incredible. I want Rolex to kind of get more into like that. That's one thing I love about like the vintage pieces. Like, for me, like, I want to collect as many stone dial vintage Rolexes as I can. I have 0 right now, but like that's like what's exciting to me. I think, you know, specifically
they're all going to be
stone
36s.
dials. No, I know.
Unless you chase those Daytonas though.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
The soda light, the Ruba light,
Oh,
those would be nuts on the straps.
Oh yeah, like the green one, the pink one,
red,
the blue one, the red.
Yeah.
Oh,
you get them with the sapphire
Thanos
bezels, ruby bezels.
So how did that come out as a set?
No, it wasn't a set.
No. They came out at the same time.
Yeah, they came out the same period, but it wasn't like a set. It's not
wasn't like that
with the
AP,
rainbow joint. You got all 10 at once.
If there's anyone who has all of them, it's probably like
Thanos.
Facts. Well, this has been fun, my man. I think you have an amazing collection. You have an amazing
Thank you so
story.
much, man. Thank you so much. I'm glad y'all doing this. I feel like more people need to like be able to kind of have an outlet where they kind of just talk about their watches.
Exactly. That's what I mean. You know, funny enough, you know, we talked about like how you were working at home during COVID, and reality, that's how this started.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I was at home consuming a lot of watch content, and we would all meet up anyway, just talk watches, and it was like, shoot, let's just put a camera on and see what happens.
Well, that's dope.
And it's growing, and now we got you with us, and it's been a pleasure, my man, just to hear your story, and you know, where you've been and how far you've come, and you know, these trophies that you've accumulated on the way is very inspiring. I think a lot of people are going to enjoy this episode. I'm grateful to have you on the show.
I'm happy to be here, man.
Did not disappoint. No. He was like, you got to meet Solomon.
I don't think
it was like, it was crazy.
No, he never does. He never does.
So many thanks to him. And this is just the beginning. I'm sure we'll have you back on to follow up and see where your collection goes.
For sure. I'm gonna be hitting you every time I get something new.
Let me know. I can't wait to see
we
that.
gotta start the group chat.
Yeah, that Tiffany Protect comes. We gotta get you back.
We need that. So I'm gonna need this link so I can send it to all my ADs. So I can be like, yo, you see, I'm shouting it out.
Yeah, I got you.
Let me get some shout outs. Let me get some shout outs to all the amazing ADs out there. First off, Myra, AP, you know, I love you. Like, cook food. You my baby. Like, you feel me? You've done so much for my family, and we appreciate you to no avail. To the good guys at Torno, Andrew Turin, we love you dearly. Thank you so much for everything. Michael Gordon, thank you so much for everything.
It's like a Grammy speech.
No, because you gotta love these guys.
Turn this into a reel.
We gotta love these guys. You feel me? And then
we gonna clip this just for you.
Yes.
Facts. Short Hills, Jesse, Gary. Yo, thank you so much. Ladies Aquanaut, that was crazy. You feel me? Like, I love y'all for that. Like, but shout out to all the 80s in the world and all the other 80s. I don't know. I'm looking for you. You feel me? I'm looking for you. Like, I want us to build a whirlwind romance. Like, you feel me? I'm looking for you. Like, please. And also anybody who's selling like vintage stone dials. Like, we gotta get those. We gotta get those. I heard buying vintage is scary though.
We'll hook you with the right.
That's why you
people.
can have guys somewhere.
Okay, cool.
We actually, the gentleman I was telling you about, who I just bought a watch from, Eric Wynn.
Nice.
Shout out Eric.
Shahendra was hanging out with him the other night.
Yeah.
So we'll put you in touch. Shout out to Eric. That wraps episode 60.
Okay.
I just want to say thank you again.
Thank
For
you.
those of you watching and listening, you know where to find us on Instagram at RiskCheckPod. You can watch us on YouTube. You can listen and watch on Spotify. We're on Amazon Music, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and there'll be more coming at you. New website launching soon. We got some product coming. Stay tuned, and we'll see you next week.
All right. See you next week. Peace, y'all.